Look at all of this. Everything is Blue Persuasion, the latest release from hot off the press. And I am so delighted that you are here, and even more delighted that Teresa has been working with all of this. And I've got some wonderful things to show you. Come play with us. Okay, before we get into the projects, I just want to briefly go over the products. Blue Persuasion is our latest paper collection. There are 12 sheets, double-sided, all beautiful. There are also cutouts in there, 36 of them. There are also die cuts. Now, the difference between cutouts and die cuts is die cuts are already cut out for you. There are 31. There's also a 6x6 Blue Persuasion, 24 sheets, exactly the same art, just shrunk down. So that's available. And cardstock. There are 12 sheets. You get 2 each of 6 colors. You can see all of the shades of blue that we're using just to go with everything. And we also have chipboard with 9 beautiful pieces. Wait till you see what Teresa's done. And we have a cutting die, and this does some miracles too. Now, Teresa focused on cards, but for our scrapbook lovers, I just wanted to show you this. This was done by Debbie, and she cut along the edge of the artwork and slipped her matted photos inside. This is some cutouts, this is some cutouts, and then she also used a cutting die with the cardstock to go right there, and some blue ribbon. And so we'll move on and get started. Now, the first card is going to use, I'm going to tell you each one what Teresa has used, and then we can get in closer. And this is using the 12 by 12 papers, the die cuts, the cutting die, and cardstock. So the cardstock is the dark color right there. So what Teresa did is she took our normal 5 by 6.5 inch cards, turned it horizontally, and she covered the front with this light blue all over pattern. And then she die cut the cutting die. There we go. Cut it out of the cardstock. Now, the cardstock is white on the back side and it's printed on the other side. So you always have white cardstock. No need to buy something extra. So that's a nice bonus. And you can see by this 6.5 inch long card that that piece just does a really nice job. Now, Teresa matted that onto a blue finely brushed sheet. This is an self-adhesive sheet, and you can see it's just super, super shiny and very pretty. And so she matted it on there. She did one of the cutouts. Now, the cutouts, just to show you, there are 31, and they take the same artwork but do it differently. And as you can see now, the Knowing You Makes Me Happy, you can see it's right there, and she matted it on the cardstock, foam taped it up, and then she took another of the die cuts, this one, and foam taped it on top. So that's really nice. Teresa always does such a lovely job with ribbons, and of course, the one that matches all of the Blue Persuasion is our blue ribbon set. And so she has wrapped that and then tied a bow, and then she zotted one of the Hunky Dory button assortments. This is also from the blue assortment, just right on top, just really nice. Now, on the inside, she took another of the pattern papers, and she did the same treatment with the cutting die, but notice this is only 3 segments, where on the front, it's 4 segments. You can almost see that, but trust me, there's 4 of them there. So it's a nice indicator that you can cut this down. You could actually make 4 different, cut that apart and have 4 different pieces, or let it match whatever size you want. So that works. These die cuts she inked, and she used the Finesse Noir black ink pad to ink the edges, and so that was nice. The other thing that she added, and I think as I wiggle this you can see, is she went into our jewel dazzles and pulled the silvers. I know that that is just really attention getting over there, but when you have it on your card, you just, you're just going to see those little circles. So she has placed them all through that mosaic of the Blue Persuasion cutting die, so really nice. And there is something you can do, and there's something else I want to show you. This is our brand new Clever Tool Caddy, and it's just been great. And I just wanted to point out, this is our retractable pen. And something I discovered is that you can stab, that's right, stab a dazzle and just lift it off. And although you should really have a self-healing mat underneath it, let's see if you can see that. So I just stabbed it, and then you can just position it onto your project, and it just works really nicely. So I'll put that one back and retract the blade and put it back into my caddy. Okay, so that's our first card. Now, the second card is very much a Teresa Welch card, and here it is. And this is the one that she's done, the only one that uses the 6x6 papers. And that is, again, it's the artwork just scaled down. It also uses the cardstock. It also uses the die cuts, and it also uses the cutting die. So taking the card, that 5-inch width, again, it's going to be 3 of the medallions are going to be needed to just span the front of that card. So you can tell that she cut down one of the papers. And, well, actually, what I should do is, before I get into that, I want to show you the surprise inside. As I said, this is such a Teresa card. So here we have our card. And then when you open it up, look what happens. Isn't that neat? There is another piece attached so that when you open, it moves, and she has die cut into that piece. Oh, pretty, pretty. Okay, let me show you the construction of this. And it has 2 pieces. The first one is simply our 5x6.5-inch card, 5x6.5. So what she did is, opening it flat, she removed a 1/2 inch off the right-hand side. And that way, when you close it, this still stays the front of the card, but the inside is going to have something added. And this is what's going to be added. You're going to take a piece of the cardstock that measures 6 inches by 6.5. Okay? Then we're going to do some scoring. So going from the left, go in a 1/2 inch and score. Go in 5 inches and score. Go 5.5 inches and score again. You notice what Teresa does is anything that's going to be folded, which is going to be these 2 outside tabs, she kind of cuts a little bit of an angle. You can see it right there on the top 2 sides. She does that because it will just be smoother to fold. Okay. So this piece has the cardstock, and then what she did is she die cut into it, and this is the scroll window that she used. Now this is 2 pieces, so she only used the inner piece. She didn't use the outer piece that makes it a separate section. So just the inner piece, and you can tell that that's what she's done right there. Really neat. Now she added 1/2 inch wide extra sticky tape. The extra sticky tape comes on a roll like this. It has that orange liner. This one I'm showing you is the 1/4 inch. She used the 1/2 inch. So you can either get the 1/2 inch or you can use 2 strips of the 1/4 inch. That work out? Everybody got that? Okay, so those are going on the outside areas, and let me show you how these are attached. You will want to fold them back. Let me grab my bone folder. Yes, my bone folder's in my tool caddy. And in fact, all of these are going to get folded back, and you will want to go over them with your bone folder or whatever tool you use for that. Okay. Now you would want to put, do the decorating on the inside of your card before you attach this. I'll tell you what that is in just a minute, but let me show you how this is attached. So we have the 2 areas with the extra sticky tape are folded back. This first one is going to get placed against the fold, but going to the front of the card. So it's going to get placed just like this. Now, hoping you can see that. So the fold is here, but the sticky part is going to be attached to the front of the card. That's going to be our pulling action, so that when we open this, it will move. Okay? Now the other part is going to go against the other edge of the card. like so. Okay, then, now these are not attached, but what will happen is that this fold will become that extra ½ inch that we cut off in the very beginning, so that the card is complete. And then, I don't think I can make it work because it's not attached, but then when you open the card again, it will get lifted. So that little flap is against the front of the card. Okay, got it? Now, let me show you how Teresa did this other than these mechanisms. So she has taken this piece of paper, this is the 6x6, and she matted it on our metallic gold. Now, our metallic gold is a 12 by 12. It's purchased by the sheet. It is a sturdy weight specialty paper. It is not holographic. It is just extra shiny and pretty. And then she placed it on her card. She did a little bit of inking along the edge also using the Noir black finesse ink pad. Now, the cutting die is die cut out of the cardstock, and it's been matted on another of the cardstock, so the dark and the light, that's going to work beautifully. Now, look what she did on each edge. As I flash that, as I wiggle it, you can see the shine, and what she used was the black border dazzles. Okay, so she used both the black border and the black jewel dazzles, both of them. They both have the silver foiling edge, and that's going to coordinate nicely with the silver specialty paper that she used. So she's got one down here and a different one at the top, so that works nicely. Now, the Enjoy Your Day, that is out of the die cuts. And I think you're going to find that the die cuts just end up being one of the most useful things. So there's the Enjoy Your Day. She did ink the edge. Even though it's a dark blue, she did ink the edge. And she used another cutting die to accent it. And this one is the tiny flowers and leaves. So the nice thing about this is in one cut of your on the machine, you're going to get a dozen flowers in several sizes and 2 different styles of flowers. So you can see how that translates over here as she has layered them. Can we get a little closer, Steve, while he does his magic with the remote control that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't? He's throwing his hands up. There we go. Okay. So you can see that she has layered them. So she's used different colors out of the cardstock and the silver, and then also the jewel dazzles in the center. Now the leaves, do you see how the leaves are curving here? And then there's a different leaf that's really curving. Well, those are from the same set. So you can see the really curving and the ones that are just slightly bent. So that works beautifully for the front. Now for the inside, she did die cut the piece after she had covered it with paper. So this is the cardstock. Then she took a paper, and the paper that she used is this one. It's out of the book, and it has a double border. So she turned it this way, and then cut it to fit the inside there, and then die cut it, and then die cut that arch window again out of cardstock and glued it on top. Now the Celebrate is another of the die cut. You see more of the flowers, more of those leaves, everything coordinates. And then on the inside, she used this paper. It's a very light, so you see we've got lots of shades of blue in our Persuasion. And then she added another cutting die, more flowers and more leaves. So it's a really nice kind of peekaboo card that's just, well, like I said, I think it's a very Teresa card. I hope you would agree. Okay, we're going to get into a Slimline card next as I bring it in. And this card, let me get my note off of it, is using, well, as I said, it's using the Slimline cards. So they are just like this. They measure, I know it's 8 inches long, and I think it's 2.5 or 3 inches wide. You get 10 in a package with 10 envelopes. So that works nicely. Now what Teresa has done on this is she's used this paper out of the 12 by 12. So it's this one. Now I've got a Post-it here that says card inside. And the reason why is that because it's a slimline card, she's just going to use parts of it. So she's going to do some stenciling over here. But for the inside of her card, she's going to use this area over here. So it's nice to know that before you get started, because you know what's going to happen. If you don't take a look at that, you're going to go right there with your stencil or right there with your stencil, and then you won't have those pretty flowers. Of course, there are more flowers over here that you could probably use. So what Teresa has done, I'm going to start with the stencil, and this is our new stencils. This happens to be the quatrefoil stencil, and I'm going to place it over here. And you will want to put use some of the low tack tape, because you don't want this, you know, walking on you. Now, if I were really smart, I would put it on a craft sheet, but I kind of want to get through all 5 of these projects in as short a time as I can. Now, we're going to take the Midnight Blue. This is Harmony. Now the Harmony indicates it is a water reactive dye, kind of like Distress inks. So this is what we're going to use. And I'm going to go back. Have you seen our new blending brushes? We've got the set of 4. Doesn't come with my pen. The set of 4. And they too can stand up right in that caddy. Can you tell I really like that caddy? And I'm going to take this and we'll just tap it. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I just want to show you because I thought it was just so brilliant of her to, let me just tap this off, to do the stencil over pattern paper. I just really like the idea, and I think it's a great way to use your pattern paper and to get just another look oh so easily. And the nice thing about doing this is that you will just kind of spread that ink. Now I'm not going to do too much more. I just want you to see, you can see the finished look from Teresa, but okay. So this is with the Midnight ink and our blending brush. You lift these off. No big deal. And you can see how that just adds another bit of texture to this card. And I just love it. Let me show it better on the finished card itself. There you go. So you can see that she went over it more than I did. I just wanted to do a little bit to show you. And it is darker at the bottom, and she went lighter at the top. So that worked very nicely. And oh, so pretty. Do you like it? I like it. Now, what about here? We're going to get in closer just so you can see this. And this is done out of our chipboard. Now, the chipboard, as I said earlier, has 9 pieces. It's on a 6x6 piece. And we're also going to use the blending brushes again. And actually, I can show you, this is where I was practicing. And let me lay it onto this piece of cardstock. Teresa used the 2 flowers. They have leaves with them. And as you can see, they have some shine also, and I'll give you that idea in just a minute. She's got the word beautiful right here. Oh, so gorgeous. She has the diamonds, which are right here. She's done out of the blue. And then she's done the flowers. And I thought the flowers were just really neat that how she did them. So let me just get the ink pads. And Teresa used, again, the Harmony, which are the water base. She used fuchsia and damson wine. And I think these are 2 favorite ones that Teresa uses. So I'm going to do just this little piece right there. And I'll lift both of these up. Okay. And I'm going to go, what I like and what the design team likes about these new blending brushes is we've got 4 sizes, and you can get really tiny one or this smaller one, and then the one that I use. So there's 4 sizes, and I haven't used the large one yet. Okay, so what is really neat about this is how easy you can do it. So you can take the, I'm doing the fuchsia, and I'm just leaving the chipboard in the base, so I'm not taking it out. You could if you wanted to, but I just find you have a little bit more control over the full size of it. So I'm simply rubbing it, no big deal, over this, and you can see how easy that is. Just rubbing it. I'm kind of staying away from the leaves, but I'm not too worried about it. Now, I'm going to go into the damson wine, which is darker, and I'm just going to go around the outside edge with that, maybe a little bit into the center. Just, it's giving some shading. Yeah, I think I'll go right into the center too. Okay, you see it? There you go. Maybe you can see a little bit better that way. Now, for the leaves, and you can play with that as much as you like. I'm doing pine tree, and again, just leave it right there and just go over it. It's so easy, and it's so forgiving, and I really like that in product. So there you go. Very, very easy to do, and then you just pop it right out and glue it onto your piece. Now, let me put these lids back on. Okay. Now, when Teresa, to get that sparkly look, boy, it's really pretty, isn't it? She used a Spectrum Noir Sparkle. This is a liquid. It comes in a little bottle. There is a blending ball in there, but you can see that there is metallic in there. That's why you need to shake it up. And then all you do is brush that over the top of whatever you want. So over the chipboard, it worked beautifully. On the word beautiful, it was white, and then she did the sparkle on top, really pretty. She added some dazzles. So those white butterflies with the silver edges, this is our silver jewel butterflies that she has added. Oh, so pretty. And the strip here is part of the die cuts, and let me show you what she did. So this piece is what she used, and you can see it's got that notch at the end. There you go. And so she just trimmed it down and let beautiful be on top of it. I thought that was pretty doggone brilliant. Inside the card, she used the other piece of the paper. We can back up a little bit now, Steve, and did the edges in the blue. And then this is another of the die cuts, and more butterflies. This has been edged in the ink pad and then foam taped up. So just a really, the Slimline is nice in that you can do quite a bit of embellishing pretty easily. Oh, you know what? I didn't tell you about those leaves. I was so focused on the chipboard. The leaves are from our new Stems and Leaves cutting die. Now, it is meant to go with the new lilacs. We're not talking about that, so I'm not showing it to you. But the stems and leaves are really designed to go with any flowers. And I think Teresa just proves it right here, how beautifully this has worked with this Slimline card. Very, very neat. Okay, I have 2 more cards for you. Okay, card number 4. This is another Teresa card, of course, as they all are, but really indicative of how her mind thinks. So this is, I don't think I've ever seen a card like this. So it has multiple flaps. So right here, this is going to open. And then when I open this, and there's the inside of our card. So it has this mechanism. Now, what Teresa did is she took the cardstock, and as I said, it's white on one side and then it's colored on the other. So I've made all the sizes on the white side, and you're going to take a piece that's 12 inches by 6.5. Okay? Then you're going to do some scoring. So we always start from the left side, go in 2 inches and score, go in 6 inches, so that's halfway, and score, and then go 10.5 and score. And then you'll take your bone folder and fold this in and score it, or bone folder it, and this is going to get folded in half, so you're just going to go right down there, and then this gets folded back. But what happens is that this flap is actually going to go on top, and that's what's going to make our card base. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back. You can tell that Teresa used the darkest blue. She did this one for me just so it would show up a little bit better against our black background. Okay, so she then took one of the papers, and this is the one that she used, which is my all-time favorite. I love this. And she cut it down. The measurements are down below in the gallery. Oh, there's a truck going by, okay. And cut a piece to go here and another piece to go on that outside flap, so right there. Then she took a lighter color, a lighter pattern, and it's this one. And I think you saw the 6x6 earlier in that, and placed it here. Now she went back because, in fact, if you want to do the money saver, we put 1 sheet of this blue finely brushed adhesive paper in it. So she again die cut the cutting die and placed it right there, so it's the full length of it. And then right here, she has also, so she's done something a little different here. She cut a strip, it's about a 1/2 inch wide strip of that finely brushed, and then she matted it on the white cardstock, but only on one side. And I would believe that the reason why she did that is she wanted to have pops of white that would play against the white elements that she has on the card. So that seems like a really smart idea. I just have never seen that before, so thank you, Teresa. Now this is one of the die cuts, and it's the one right here that says hello friend. But what about the flowers? Well, Teresa decided to use these from our friends at 49 and Market, and this is the Country Blooms Cobalt. So this is their blue, and doesn't it work really nicely with the blue Persuasion? Then this piece is another of the die cuts, so 31 go away. Now this goes a long way. This is a little tag, but she turned it on its side, added a couple of the cobalt, and placed it like so. So really, really nice. Now on the inside, she used this part of the paper. So she got into the text, and you can see that she just cut a piece. The measurements are in the gallery. She matted it only on one side with the light blue. That's interesting. And then she took another piece, and okay, I don't have it. There is another sheet that has all kinds of these motifs, these medallions on it. It's a whole page of them, so you can cut them apart, and that's what she's done there. And then she did the cutting die, just saying hello. You can say you are the best, celebrate, just because, thank you, all of those greetings that are so useful, and placed it right there. And I think this is just a really nice and really interesting card. Oh, one other thing that she has added, so I want to show you that, is these are the blue shimmer sparkles. These are from Hunky Dory, so they're self-adhesive. And she's placed one here and some on the inside. I think it's mostly on the outside. So just a little bit of sparkle to her card. Okay, we have one final card. Let me bring that to show you. And this is really kind of a different one. So let me show you. This is going to use 12 by 12 papers, one die cut, and also it's going to use as a card base this twisted double easel card blank from our friends at Hunky Dory. So let me show you what it looks like. It comes flat and it's already scored. And when you get something that's already scored, there's a bump and then there's kind of a reset area. The bump is going to go in the middle of your card, okay? So that just takes care of that. So you're going to fold it in half. Again, I'm going to go back to our trusty bone folder and just make that really a tight fold. Now, the card that Teresa did has just a flap on the front, not on this side. This card has two of them. So you're going to take one and cut it off. The other one you're going to fold on the score line and again burnish it with your bone folder. Okay, so that's going to stay down very nicely for you. Okay, so this is going to go away and then you're going to get this look. Now the whole purpose of that flap is this, that when you open the card, this is an easel. So as you can see, so the orientation of this is going to be something you'll want to look at. Okay, so we will start with, we're going to put pattern paper from the 12 by 12 right there. Then we're going to use the cutouts. In fact, all of these are the cutouts from the sheet. Oh, you know what? That's the sheet that has all of those motifs. I should have shown you that like 30 seconds ago. Okay, just pretend that you saw it then. Okay. Now what Teresa has is this paper, and then the cutouts that are in the paper pad. That's what this is, this is, this is. As you can tell, she has elected to go with gold. Now, earlier she used silver, but this time she's going with blue and gold. In fact, my high school colors, as I recall. And she has done matting with them. This is one of the die cuts, and it's actually right here. So you can see that just pops up. She did a little bit of inking on it. Now, can you see that flash of sparkle? Okay, well, I want to show you what these are. These are doodads. Okay, they're from Buttons Galore. These are the birthday bling ones, and I'm going to turn this over and lift off the top of it. And Steve, we need to get in closer. Okay, you see all that sparkle and shine? Okay. We just got this. This is a jewel picker, a double-ended, dual-ended jewel picker. And I want to show you, it's got a sticky stuff on one end. So you can go into these jewels or any jewels and it'll just pick it up. You can add your dot of adhesive, you know, Cosmic Shimmer Specialist Glue is our favorite. Put some dots down and then just position that and pull it off. So really fun. So all those sequins you have, this dual picker is going to work really nicely. It has a narrow end and the dual part of it. At the other end, you've got a big one. So you can do the same thing. It just picks them up, just makes it so much easier, okay? So that's good to know, and it will also stand in our clever caddy. So that's good to know. Okay, so Teresa has used these. I'll set that aside. She's used them on the inside. The other thing that she used on the inside are our favorite 4-inch wide paper doilies. They just add a really nice touch. So you can see when she cut this paper, she simply glued the doily there and then just trimmed off the excess and then started building her arrangement. For the front, she did the same thing where she took that same piece of paper and cut it into a square, then cut it diagonally to make 2 triangles, and then also added a doily over one piece of it before she attached it to her card, trimmed the excess, and then let it be. Now for this piece, this is also out of the paper pad. It's a cutout, and she matted it on the gold. And notice how she positioned it. The lettering behind it is going to look correct when it's standing up, okay? Because that's how the card is meant to be viewed, okay? And there it goes just like that. So some very different cards, some very interesting ones. Nothing that's horribly difficult to make either, but all are just really, really fun. And I think it's a really nice introduction to our blue Persuasion 12 by 12, our die cuts, our cardstock, our 6 by 6. Somewhere on this table I have our chipboard and our blue Persuasion cutting die. And there's the tool caddy too. All of this is now available. They're all here. There's lots of projects on the website. I want to thank you so much for sticking with me through this, all these wonderful things that Teresa has done. And all the measurements, all the directions are down below in the gallery. There is a money saver over there. I do want to tell you that we do have a limited quantity of the blue brushed adhesive paper, but it is included in the money saver, so that's fun. If you're watching this on YouTube, please come over to paperwishes.com, see what we have, get all the complete directions, and take a look around. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much for joining us and for being, as always, the very best part of paperwishes.com.